Hey guys, welcome back to another Chain Gang podcast episode. We got some big news. It's only two of us tonight. Just me
Chase is
and
going through
Justin.
a big transition, so he's a little tired.
Yeah, he's moving. He's moving down south a little bit. So while he's moving and getting ready, we got a podcast we got to do. The show must go on. So big news with Dehaun Watson. He's getting 6 games, but it seems like the NFL just wants to lengthen that a little bit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate if you are a
It's me.
Deshaun Watson owner
I
in the
traded for
fantasy
him
world.
like months ago when he was low and cheap. But now it's kind of seems like he's still low and cheap. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people are frustrated with the Calvin Ridley and the Deshaun Watson suspension. Like one's not as significant as the other.
Yeah,
Two different things, but one is confirmed guilty. The other is, he's still in trial. So
yeah,
it's kind of like if you're going through the court systems, it's like if he's getting through it, he's paying off his debts, he's paying off these people to, for their grievances and stuff, coming to terms. If he gets cleared of all that, 6 games should be plenty. A whole year, that means he'll have another season of sitting out. I don't think that's like something that the league should want to really do, especially for not being convicted of it.
yeah. Especially like we were talking about before, and it's like I get why you want to punish them. You don't want to make it seem like it's a small deal for NFL players to have like sexual abuse accused against them. But like in the case of Deshaun Watson, he wasn't ever really convicted. So it's like if like it's tough, but it's kind of a balancing act from the NFL. So I get it. I get why they want to make it longer
It's
because you.
mainstream right now too. Like
So
everyone wants to
yeah,
the
and
punishment.
they
I've
want
seen a
to
lot of
shit on him.
comments. Yeah, they
Yeah,
want to shit on him. They want a punishment. They want to punish him a little bit more. And it's like
yeah,
when stuff gets mainstream and the media's like, this is what should happen. This is what should happen. And the NFL's like, oh, we got to listen to our fan base, even though they might not like agree.
yeah.
They're gonna do it to appease people so that people just don't get annoyed. Like, oh, you guys just let a sexual whatever the
hmm
hell assault
I
whatever
saw
happen.
a post on Twitter. It was like he said, "What? I can't believe that the NFL is basically saying that gambling is worse than sexual abuse or sexual assault." And then I was going through the comments, just reading like what people thought, and this guy replied. He said, "Well, it's unconvicted sexual abuse, and then it's someone threatening the integrity of the NFL." Which completely makes sense. Like obviously in Calvin Ridley's case, he wasn't playing, and it was for his own team to win. But
Yeah,
gambling in any way has been made illegal for a while now, and that for that very reason that it could threaten the validity of the NFL's
yeah.
process and the
It's
NFL's business.
Yeah, it's
So,
still a big deal. I think the gambling thing is still 100% wrong.
mhm.
This it's like, it's like a ref, even though like it's not as dramatic as a ref would be, but like if Tom Brady, did it, like the whole world would just blow up, and
Yeah,
because it's Calvin Ridley and he's sat out and no one hates Calvin Ridley. I mean, unless you had him in fantasy football like myself last year, you're
yeah,
not really upset with him. But at the same time, it's like it's still an issue, and the NFL needs to make an example out of them so that doesn't happen. Because
yeah.
if they don't do something, then it's like, oh, he didn't even get in that much trouble, and look how much I can gain if I throw this
hmm
game. It's like I just made
Yeah.
millions. So I think they had to do what they did to Calvin Ridley. It's kind of a longer than what I would do,
Yeah, I think it's a
but
little excessive, but
I get the message. You have to say like this is not okay in any circumstance. So while
yeah.
and Deshaun sat out all last year, like so it's not like he played all last year and then now is getting a 6 game suspension. Like he's been out for a year, and now you're adding trying to get another year, and all that money this team just bought into him. It's kind of like Like you can't. The Browns have already been shit on their whole existence. You can't just keep they finally get a quarterback that could be top 5 in the league,
Yeah.
and now you're like, all right, he can't even play another season, and you're still gonna
No,
have to
this is
pay
just
him.
showing the NFL is rigged. They don't
Yeah,
want the Browns to ever be good.
yeah. The Brown. I mean, honestly, I think, and this is my prediction, and this is what I kind of feel like if Deshaun Watson plays, if he was able to play the full season, it would be for sure this, but because he can only if he only sticks to the 6 games, his numbers aren't going to look good. But I think if he would have played the full season this season, like in if you let's say you did a draft like for dynasty next year, and
Hmm.
Deshaun Watson played the full year, had an amazing year, I think it would be like first round quarterbacks are Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert. I think if Deshaun Watson played, he would be in there.
Yeah, he would
I think
be
he would
probably
be in the
top five.
first. He would be in the people you would draft for sure in the first round of a super flex. Obviously, not a one quarterback, which you don't really
Yeah,
do in dynasty, but in a 2 quarterback super flex league, he would be one of those dudes because he's only what 26 right now.
yeah, he'd for sure be in the top in the
He's
first
young. He's
round.
still got and with the Texans, he's leading the league in yards. So I think he could be one of those guys you could be like, all right, I can buy into this guy and he won't have any issues. But
Yeah,
granted, no, this is going on, so it's gonna not, make it. He's gonna miss 6 games, so his numbers are gonna be not as good looking if you look at him next year because you're like, oh, he only has this amount of points, but he didn't play 6 games. So
yeah.
um, I think he's gonna do great, and he has a great wide receiver that he could throw the ball to.
I think
Amari
it
Cooper.
sucks. I just saw it on Twitter right here. It says NFL is seeking an indefinite suspension for Deshaun Watson, meaning he would have to appeal for his return and convince the NFL as to why he should be able to come back.
Yeah,
And that's just the whole messed up
I feel like they have
process.
like a legitimate case. Like I feel like if the NFL lengthen this, they'd have to give a reason as to why. Like, all right,
Yeah.
we want to lengthen this. Oh, because like 20 cases became, he's getting convicted, he's going to jail or something. Okay,
Well,
that's
they
a
probably
legitimate.
saw everybody blowing him up saying, oh, Josh Gordon gets suspended for 2 years or indefinite suspensions because of smoking weed, but Deshaun Watson pays for a hand job and he gets 6 games. It's like,
I know, and it's weird too because like I watch them, and I saw this one woman, she was talking about it. She was actually one of the ladies that was involved, and she was like after she was like talking about, she's like, oh, he made me feel very uncomfortable, and he did some things in the first appointment, and then someone really focused on the word first appointment. Like after he did that, you booked him other appointments, and
yeah.
then the dude cut off and said, well, if I'm, a masseuse and a dude pulls out his wiener, I'm not, going back to that guy. It's like I'm not going back. So the fact
Yeah,
that
I'm not
you
letting him
came
come in.
back
Yeah.
kind of makes you look like, you're just doing this for the money, you're just doing this for the clout, you're just doing this for what your own reasons. You're not actually like, oh my God, like this is like traumatic for me type thing. You're doing it because he probably paid you really well. You came
Yeah.
back for some reason. There's a reason why you booked a second, third, fourth appointment. You don't just not do that just because, he's barely paying you and he makes you feel uncomfortable. I mean, unless that's your thing, that's what you're doing. So I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. And I feel like the NFL is just going to do whatever the social media says. And it's not going to be the right thing. And it's not going to be, you know, the proper thing you should do in this scenario. And that's
Yeah.
actually take a look at it step by step of what happened and be like, okay, this is what we need to do. So, but we can jump from that. We have some other news. We have some injuries we need to talk about. We have my center, Ryan Jensen, sadly injured, out for like a month or so. I really don't know what that's going to do for the Bucks offense. I think we can recover for those games he'll be missing. Um, he was a huge piece. He is a fighter. He is a big dude, and he does add a lot of knowledge to this game that a lot of
Yeah.
other centers don't have. So, and then we lost Ali Marpet this offseason, but we added Shaq Mason.
Yeah.
Um,
You're there.
yeah, we stole that from the Patriots
Yeah.
for like a fifth
For a
round
fifth
pick.
rounder.
Yeah, that was when I saw that, I was like, holy crap, what is going on? Do the Patriots that confident they can replace him? Like, Like, why did you get
I
rid of
think
him?
they were just confident they couldn't pay him.
That too. We might be able to pay him. We have some older guys, but we also have Van Jefferson injured.
Yeah,
I
he's
just
out for a
traded him
little
away.
while.
We were just talking about that. I just traded him away. Thank God. He's actually, I didn't know this, but you know how old he is?
24,
No.
6,
Yes. And you know how many years of experience he has?
2,
Yes. So he was drafted 24
24.
years old. And you know who's the same age as him? Russell
Um.
Gage, the guy that I traded with him or traded for with him.
Oh yeah.
And he's got 4 years of experience. Russell
Mm.
Gage. So you think about it, I didn't know Van Jefferson was that old. Like he was drafted at 24. That means he literally went through college to his senior year, redshirted probably like 2 seasons and then, was able to get into the NFL. But like
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm thinking he's like 22, 23. Nope, this dude is 26 years old and I was only played 2 seasons. And he's just now getting traction. He's starting to go up on the depth chart a little bit. And this would be a season that I would see him do more.
Mm-hmm.
I would see him do a lot more if they didn't sign Allen Robinson, which we're going to talk about him in a little bit too. But if they didn't sign Allen Robinson, I would 100% would have kept him.
Oh yeah, I think you would have a chance to
Yeah, I
do a
mean,
lot more
if
this
anything
year.
happened to any of those wide receivers and then he gets a higher role, like,
Yeah. I mean, I guess another guy we have to talk about who's not really missing time, but he's gonna miss some time, but he got arrested. So
yeah,
Marquise Brown,
Marquise Brown, yeah, he
apparently
got
he's
arrested for
speeding,
speeding, yeah,
trying to pull
like
a Henry Ruggs.
I know, like the fast, small guys just really like the speed, like
Yep.
for some reason. And he got caught in Arizona, so I mean, he got caught where he was. But it's kind of like, what inhibits these guys to just want to speed and get in trouble? You would think that after the Henry Ruggs thing, everybody would be driving slow. But I mean, as long as he didn't get arrested with a DUI, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah. He's fine because what he did was just kind of like reckless driving. But
Yeah. Also, there was another running back. Oh, Alvin Kamara.
oh yeah, well he got arrested
Dude,
a while ago.
and his case is still going. They're thinking he's missing time, dude.
Yeah,
And if
it's
he
like
misses
6
time,
games.
I just traded him away like few months ago, and I forget. You remember what the charges were? I was talking to it with Chase
Yeah, it was
actually.
domestic violence.
Domestic violence. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Who did I give him to? I gave him to Brandon Finner. Yeah. It's funny too. He had problems. He has Saquon. Saquon was his number one running back, and he had problems with his running back. And I'm like, all right, I'll give you Kamara. He's still a top 10 guy. So I was like, all right, I can trade you Alvin
He still
Kamara,
had his
and
charges at that point.
I think I ended up getting Jonathan Taylor, but I added other people. I didn't just do a swap. But um, now he's still having problems with his running backs. But his court case, it says Kamara's hearing regarding a battery charge has been rescheduled for Thursday, September 29th. So it's a battery charge.
Oh, was it a fight? Like he fought somebody?
I don't know. It says battery. Oh wait, I think there's a video of it. I think he like was in like a club or something, and just started beating the crap out of the guy. I don't know if they were exchanging words or if he pissed him off. I think I saw a video of it.
I
Um,
think so.
but it's weird because you don't hear a lot of. I haven't heard about it. I've only heard about it because through us. Like I haven't seen like news on Twitter or on Bleacher Report, like nothing about his court cases. So they're kind of being quiet about it. I don't know why. Maybe they just want to protect Alvin Kamara because people are still going to draft him in their leagues, and he might be arrested. He might miss some time. I mean, he actually put his hands on someone. So could
Yeah,
he get
he'd be.
suspended?
Yeah, he
Could
could.
he like what if he gets suspended? I
Well,
mean,
they're talking about at least they're saying a 4-game suspension.
yeah, and he's had problems with his back too in the past. He's 27 now, which I was kind of shocked about. Didn't know he was that old. He's 27. I thought he was like in the 25 range still. But yeah, he's 27. getting to his prime years, man. Running backs don't last that
Well,
long.
he wasn't even very good last year. Remember, we talked about it on one uh, podcast.
Yeah, he wasn't
You
great.
he was a few weeks ago. I think it was the in person one we did. He had the lowest uh, yards per carry out of a 200 plus carry group.
Yeah. Yeah, I know his numbers weren't good, and I honestly think this would be a year he could rebound if Jameis stayed healthy.
Yeah,
And now they have Michael Thomas, so I don't know. He's like one of those dudes that I just don't know, and you really would have to see where he lands in drafts to want to draft him because obviously he's going to be suspended, I think, for a few games, especially if it
yeah.
doesn't
I
go
think
his
he's
way.
going. I'm doing a few like best ball drafts, um, and it looks like it's he's going somewhere around like 14 for running backs.
14th. Oh, okay, 14th out of just running backs.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a good range.
but it's just crazy to think about. Last year, he was probably like
Top
top
five.
five. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely top five. I remember some dude in one of my leagues. He drafted him the first running back,
Yep.
over like some of the other guys just because he was that big of a Kamara guy that year. But I mean, I don't. That's good that the rankings are actually showing where I think he should be drafted because he does have RB hot top running back potential,
Yeah.
especially if he can play and he's on the field and no one gets injured on their offensive line and Jameis stays on the field. Like if you look at Jameis's numbers last year when he played, he actually did really well, especially against I think he beat the Bucks. Did he play against the? No, that's the game he got injured. I think he only played like half a game, but he was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh, um, but I think that offense could still be pretty decent without Breeze being there. Um, and it needs to be good if he's playing because if you're not giving him the ball, your offense isn't going to be good at all.
Yeah. I mean, I could see James having a decent year. He's got like if Michael Thomas comes back full strength,
You got
and
Chris
then
Olave,
Chris
Jarvis
Olave is decent.
Landry.
Yeah.
He
You
has
got two
some
vets who can
pass
catch the
catchers.
ball.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got some dudes that can definitely get open, and like Jarvis Landry is having problems with volume. So
Hmm.
if you get, I think if Jarvis Landry gets the ball, I think he could still be a top wide receiver. He's not the fastest
Yeah.
guy, not the most electric guy, but he's got good hands and good route running. So, and that's probably what Jameis needs to, you know, get to that
Yeah.
tier where he's good, and he has better eyes. People forget he didn't have great eyes when he was playing for the Bucks. And honestly, I wish he just sat behind Brady these last few seasons and was still there because I
Right.
would
That'd be
I
nice.
would still have him. Honestly, I mean, I don't know what we're doing with Trask, but I don't hate Jameis Winston. I wish the best for him. Wish he didn't stay in our division, but um, our
Yeah. It
division.
seems like um it would have been nice if the Bucks were able to keep Jameis.
Yeah, I don't know if Brady would have came back this year if
Mm-mm.
Jameis was still there.
Yeah, I don't
But
think so.
I'm kind of glad he did, so we could actually figure out what we want to do with our quarterback after him. Don't know what we're doing with Kyle Trask, like I said, but I think he could be really well. What I seen in the preseason last year was pretty good, so I'm hoping because Brady's not playing preseason, so I want to see
Oh, he's not
strict.
playing at all.
I don't think so. I think he's one of the players that said I'm not playing, or that
That's
maybe
surprising.
maybe it's just the first week. But I saw that Todd Bowles says he's not playing one of the
That's
weeks.
weird.
So
Hopefully, at least is practicing.
yeah, he's for sure
They
practicing.
get
I just
warm.
want to see. I just want to see Trask develop. I just want to see him throw with the first group of wide receivers and the backups, and then practice squad, whatever the heck people. I just
Yeah.
want to see him with different levels and tiers of the offense. See how he does. Because you drafted him in the second round, we gotta do something with him. So, but anyways, other than that, I don't think there's any news of anybody else.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, nothing that's weird.
There's
I mean,
a lot of hype going around lately.
yeah, like there's also some bad hype going on with like the Jets and their quarterback situation.
One positive for the Jets is apparently is like Elijah Moore is killing it, which is good. But
You have Garrett Wilson in a few leagues, so I'm hoping he can do something. I heard,
there's been nothing out of camp for
Drake London, I heard, was doing great too.
Yep, Drake
I seen some
London. Yeah.
videos of him. He's mossing people at his size, which he's 6'4", so he should be. But he actually has great hands. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
he's going to be a. I have him, and I'm kind of excited to see what he can do, even though he's on the Falcons. But new quarterback, so I'm not worried about it being Matt Ryan. So, but other than that, rookie wise, I think I. Oh yeah, we have the Dobbins thing about him trying to play, trying to practice, and the team's not letting him. So I don't know what they're
Oh
gonna
yeah.
do. It says on the report that he's been campaigning to play, and a lot of the um, uh, Ravens head coaching staff or coaching staff just doesn't want him to come out just yet. I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of putting him on the pup list just to put him there. I guess I don't know why, because he could still be off before the season starts. But they said he should be good by week 1, but he wants to play in I think the preseason games, and I don't think they want him to. So, um, who else? What are some other young guys that have been tearing it up?
A lot of hype coming out of the Dolphins camp. Everybody talking
Yeah,
about
dude, I see a lot of videos.
to his dot to Tyreek Hill. I'm like,
Yeah, I
all
don't.
right, man, relax.
I know.
It's
It's like,
just practice.
yeah, I'm not really even. Most of the hype I believe and I don't believe, like with certain things. Like if the media is really pushing this guy to be like the next best thing, it's kind of like they're not. They're not.
Sky Moore apparently is doing good too. He's killing it.
I saw
Uh,
that. I tweeted out the other day. I really think that he could, um, if he gets connected with that offense and can fill that hole of what Tyreek Hill was,
oh yeah, he can be
it
great.
it could change a lot of teams and leagues in fantasy football. Like if you think about it, if he picks up the gap and can be an elite wide receiver, you're
Yeah,
talking about a dude that was drafted like late, like what we're talking about, like in the hundreds. Now if he's starting for you and dropping 20-point games, you're just like, how the heck do I manage that? You have a team that was down here in your fantasy league. Now they're way the heck up there because the dude they drafted in the 10th 11th round is now
yeah,
being like they're
killing it.
the top dude in the league. So he's one of those dudes. Another dude that I like, Christian Watson, but he's been dealing with injuries.
Yeah, apparently he's not been healthy for training camp. He's barely
No,
played.
I really think he could. And then another guy on their offense, Romeo
Romeo
Dubes,
Dubs.
Dubs, whatever you want to call them. I think he's going to be pretty good too. They said he was drafted in the 4th round. They said he's been really turning heads and made a lot of good catches. And
Yeah,
if he just gains the trust of Aaron Rodgers, they think with all the injuries that are going on with like Randall Cobb and Christian Watson, that he
yeah.
could really make an impact because he's been making some really tough catches in practice. So that's good because I have him on my taxi squad in a few leagues, and I'm kind of like,
Another big surprise out of these some of these camps is Mason Rudolph apparently is
yeah,
looking to be the best quarterback out of there, which
that's
is
just.
kind of funny.
I think that's just smoke, dude. I don't think that's anything serious. They're
Well,
definitely going
this
to give
right
the job
here,
to Trubisky.
it's funny because I mean this right here, it says Steelers camp right now. This is 4 hours ago, so it's at the end of the day today. Mason Rudolph just ran with the first team in the 11-11 and went perfect 22 for 22 with 4 touchdowns. And the entire
That's just
team huddled
that's
around
just
him in
dumb.
celebration.
I don't agree with it.
No, he just went for 22 for 22.
Say what?
4 touchdowns.
He did
Saying he
what?
went 22 for 22 with 4 touchdowns.
22 for 22 with 4 touchdowns in practice.
Yeah, he didn't throw any incompletions.
What the fuck is going on? Against what defense? Is he? They're playing against air
He's playing against the Steelers defense, which is pretty good.
starting defense.
Yes, against the ones.
No way. No way. I really think it's just
I mean,
bullshit. I think it's bullshit. I really don't think I'm gonna see. And here comes the Steelers. Leading them is Mason Rudolph.
he's like a bad version. I mean, like a bad version of like Davis Mills, and that's bad because Davis
Who are they
Mills has
playing
been that
week
good.
1? In like not in regular season, but in a real game. I hope it's the
Um,
Browns. I want to see a Myles Garrett situation again.
let's see, NFL schedule. They play the Bengals week 1.
Oh yeah.
But they
Well,
play the Browns week 3. We have the face-off between Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph.
if he's the quarterback,
Yeah.
actually, like I was kind of a big, person to kind of jump on, I guess, Mitchell Trubisky's side of starting. I think he could be pretty decent. I don't think he's going to last long because they drafted Pickett
Mm-hmm.
and they have a lot of capital into this young guy already. So if they didn't, I would be okay with him. But now that they have Pickett, it's kind of like even if he does good, it's like there's no point.
Yeah, who cares really?
Yeah, it's like they have a rookie there. They drafted in the first round. They're paying 20 million to just ride at the bench. No way.
Yeah.
And he's no one wants him to fail, but Mitchell Trubisky's kind of like hoping they kind of waste their money, I guess, in a way, so he can start because a lot of uh, Josh Allen, I think it was the last team he was on, the Bills, said that he actually surprised them, how good he was in like working with them and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
and that he could very well be a good quarterback in this league. So I believe Josh Allen when he says that. That's why I was kind of high on him going in because I'm like, I don't think Josh Allen would kind of say that for no reason if he didn't kind of believe it. So and
Yeah, it was weird all those rumors going around with the like how Josh Allen was praising him.
yeah,
And I was like, okay. And then I started to believe it myself. And then now we're back in the camp, and I'm like, what's going on, dude?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he how good he is doing. It's just like word of mouth right now. So it's I I think he's going to be the starter still, and I think any mess ups that happen throughout the game, they're just going to throw in Mason Rudolph, and they're not really going to put in Pickett until like middle of the season, which is fine for me. In one of my leagues, I don't have a second quarterback. Oh, I do, and it's Sam Darnold, but I don't really have a for sure quarterback two. I have Tua, Pickett, and Darnold. I didn't draft quarterback early in this super flex league like the other teams, and I don't. If he doesn't start to the middle of the season, I'm fine with that. So I mean, a lot of these leagues in fantasy football, we're like you. I think you have him in a league. We're cool with him just sitting out until he's ready, which is what we want. I don't want him to be rushed. I think
No,
the
because then that's
Steelers are
when they
play.
fail.
Yeah, I think that the Steelers are doing the right thing by putting veterans in front of him that know the offense. He learns it, and then he takes over. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. So I don't think Mason Rudolph really thinks he's going to start and stay starting for a while.
Oh
I
yeah.
think Mitchell Trubisky kind of needs to. I think if Mitchell Trubisky's going to, I think he's for sure going to leave the Steelers and go somewhere else, maybe even to the Panthers. If Baker Mayfield
Yeah,
isn't
I
going to
could
looking
see
out
it. I could see him going like to someone like the Seahawks also.
Seahawks, yeah, if he does really well, and like, hey man, you can be a backup, but we have to kind of start Pickett. And he's like, I'll just, their team's like, all right, we'll take him. We need someone bad, and that could
Yeah.
be the Seahawks, that could be the Panthers if Baker, something happens to Baker.
Especially like if somehow Mason Rudolph really did like turn a corner and he's actually going to be good this season. And at the trade deadline, someone's offering them a decent deal to get off
Take
a
him,
contract that they really don't even care about at this point because Mason Rudolph can get the job done for him for the year, and then maybe Kenny Pickett's ready by next year.
yeah,
So I could see Mitch Trubisky being on the move again if Mason Rudolph has shown that he can actually uh, take the team to wins.
yeah, and we could talk about the quarterback. We can go ahead and jump into the quarterbacks, the new quarterbacks and wide receiver duos that are now in the league. That's kind of like still hard to like when you hear, you're like, wait, he's on that team again. And it's funny, my brother, we were talking to him about all the leagues he was in, and I'm like, hey man, you haven't made
Yeah,
moves in a while, like haven't you looked at your team? He's like, yeah, I just I'm waiting until like preseason. I'm like, well, preseason's coming up, and my dad and we're talking about some wide receiver. He's like, he went there. We're like, yeah, he's not. He's like, he's not in the. Oh yeah, it was Allen Robinson. He's like, Allen Robinson's not on the Bears anymore. Like, no, he's in LA. It's like, oh, I'm like, what else don't you know?
sounds
He's
like your
like,
brother.
and dude, he didn't know Devontae Adams went to the Raiders. He did not know. He did not
What?
know. I was talking to him, and we're talking about me trading for Aaron Rodgers in one of my leagues, and I was like, the dude doesn't want to do it, and blah blah blah. And he was like, "Oh yeah, so you can have like Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers." And I was like, "No, they're not on the same team anymore." He goes, "What?" And I'm like, "Dude, do you not know like about a lot of these moves in the league of wide receiver?" He didn't know like Marquise Brown went to the Cardinal. He literally did not know anything.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know,
Shows how
but
much he's paying attention.
yeah, he's really not. He doesn't really start getting into it until preseason. So, anywho,
Yeah.
we have the first quarterback and wide receiver duo, Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. How do you think that is going to go?
Um,
You think it's going to be? You think AJ Brown's going to do better or worse in for the Eagles on the Eagles?
I think AJ Brown will do worse on the Eagles,
Okay.
but I think Jalen it'll make Jalen Hurts much better.
Okay. I can agree to that. The team is a really bad passing team, bad in passing attempts, bad in passing
Yeah.
completions, yards, the whole every touchdowns, everything. And for some reason, I don't know why, but this year has been the most hype I've seen about the Eagles. I've seen this guy, I don't know what, news thing, sports news thing he's on, but he does the rankings and he goes through each team and he just clicks them on the board. And dude, the wins that he was giving the Eagles, I was just like in the record, I think the final record was like 13-4. And I'm just like, are you shitting me right now? You think they're
Who
going
do you think the
13
Eagles
and
are?
4? Yeah,
Yeah.
what planet are you on? I'm not thinking they're doing anything just because they added
Mm.
AJ Brown. No. Jalen Hurts I heard he's struggling in camp. He's one of the
Yep.
dudes struggling in camp. So anywho, I don't think the offense is going to get that much better. I do think Jalen Hurts should get better. Then again, he could blow it. It could be a thing where they're both not doing good still.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts didn't do too bad. He was still like a top quarterback in fantasy football, but it sucks when you're halftime and your quarterback has like less than 5 points and then he scores all his touchdowns in the third and fourth quarter. And you're like, oh my God, thank God he got 20.
Yeah.
Like it's like no, that's annoying. You want them to see them score and they don't. They don't score early in the games. It takes forever for them to get any momentum.
Yeah.
So
Jalen Hurts is like the example of a. He's
and
just a
they lost a
fantasy.
lineman too. They lost Lane Johnson. He
Oh, did
retired.
they?
Yeah, I think he retired.
Oh, he did retire. I think I
Yes,
heard
they
that.
lost like a top tackle in the league. Jason Kelsey's not going to be there forever. I mean, he's older too. Um, or maybe it wasn't Lane Johnson. Maybe it was Brooks, Brandon. Was it Brandon Brooks? Their
Yeah,
left
I
or
know.
guard.
I know they
Someone
lost
on their
one.
offensive line that was key
Yeah, I know that
retired.
works.
So
That sounds right.
I don't think that they're going to be any better than just adding AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown is kind of inside. He's like, fuck, I went to the Eagles
Yeah.
because you were on a team with Derrick Henry and the Titans, and now you if Derrick Henry is healthy, you're for sure getting into the playoffs. So it's like now
Yep.
you're like, I'm on the Eagles, like playing the Cowboys twice a year, which the Cowboys suck, but still, whatever. We can jump to the next group. I like we said, we don't think AJ Brown's gonna be any better. We have Matt Ryan and Michael Pittman. Do you think Michael Pittman's going to benefit from gaining Matt Ryan, or you think he's going to do worse?
I do
Matt Ryan's still
believe that
himself.
Michael Pittman will improve with Matt Ryan. I think he's going to be a guy. Not to say like Carson Wentz is okay, but Matt Ryan is someone who can place his balls a little better. And when you have those bigger jump ball receivers, I think it's going to be a little bit better for Michael Pittman because it's going to be in spots where only he could catch it.
Okay.
So it's not going to be a true one on one where you really have to best the DB. He's going to put it in a spot for you.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of like don't on the fence about Matt Ryan still, just because what I literally watched him live play last year against the Bucks, and I don't. He still has the passion. He was so pissed off when I saw him in person. He was so mad that our defense was just lighting them up, and
Yeah.
he couldn't complete the passes that he was used to passing. I mean, then again, he did get a crease line. He had one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL last year. So
And
I
a running
understand.
game now.
and he has an elite running game. I mean, they had
Yeah.
they had Cordell Patterson and Mike Davis duo last year. So he had some type of running help, but blocking, there was no stopping that Bucks defensive line. Now he has one the best left guard in the NFL,
Yeah.
Quentin Nelson. So it's like, I think he could do definitely better. I think Michael Pittman's going to get at least 1,000 yards this year, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's because Michael Pittman is great or good. I think it's because they don't have that many options at wide receiver, and he's a good option. So he falls into a pretty good fantasy, wide receiver
Force.
because yeah, it's kind of like default. Like where else are they going to go? They don't have that many options. T.Y. Hilton, I don't even think he's on the team. You have fuck, I can't even think of their wide receiving core right now. Um, they have like Odlin or something, some dude Odlin. That's that
Doolin.
one. Doolin, not Odlin, Doolin. Yeah,
Yeah.
some people I
Apparently
see.
he's going to be number 2.
Yeah, and then they have this other guy. Fuck, what's his name? He was kind of drafted around the same time too as Michael Pittman. He's slower though. He's not fast. Any,
Um.
he's black dude. I forget his name. Can't think of it. But
Oh.
anyways, I just think it's gonna be forced because they have nowhere else to go. I mean, they lost another target in Jack Doyle. I think they
I
still have
can't
Mo
think.
Alley Cox at tight end. So I mean, they still have a tight end, but still, like the running game is going to help out Matt Ryan, and the passing game is just going to go all to Michael Pittman. So at least 1,000 yards is what I'm expecting if he's healthy. And Matt Ryan, I think, could still be somewhat of himself and get him the ball.
Yeah.
And he'll have definitely
With a
more time.
guy like when Matt Ryan's at his age, he does need someone to like make him feel a little bit more protected at the when
Now,
he's
if AJ
behind the line of
Brown
scrimmage.
went to the Colts,
Yeah.
I like that a little bit better. I would definitely I would consider drafting him. I did not consider draft. I'm not even thinking if his name comes across my draft board as the best option, I am not drafting him because they want you to draft him in the first or second round, and I am not drafting anyone on the Eagles offense in the first or second round.
Yeah.
So I think that would have been an awesome trade. Honestly, they don't have a lot of depth at wide receiver, and AJ Brown going there would probably been pretty good. But on to the next one. We have Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk. They paid all that money for Christian Kirk. Do you think Christian Kirk will be his number one wide receiver that he needed?
I don't think he'll be the number 1 wide receiver that he needs.
Do you think it's going to be another
Um,
forced scenario with nowhere else to go? He's going to be elite in fantasy football because
I
he is a
think he
big
will be
playmaker.
pretty good option.
I
Yeah.
think I think he
I
got
think
under
he's gonna
80
be
catches last year.
yeah, and that was as like the third option or
Yeah,
kind
and
of
he
like sharing reps, but I
yeah
think with him being number 1, him kind of like Marvin Jones, I think it's like he's bound to get better. I think he's gonna definitely have a better season he did last year.
right.
Because I think last year he had 800 yards or something like that, 70 catches. And I think in a role where he's kind of schemed to get open, he'll be better. But the thing that concerns me is I don't really know how much better Trevor Lawrence will be because of that.
Yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence has all the talent in the world. I just think his situation is bad, like with the offensive line. He one of his stars got injured last year. Um, the head coaching bull crap with the only he didn't even have a head coach really last year. So
Yeah.
now he has a Doug Peterson. He's won a Super Bowl. And I think he could probably be the whole the guy that can fit that hole and push them to a lot more wins this year. I'm not saying they're going to be like 8-9 wins. They're probably going to be in the 7-6 range, but still, I think I hope to see Trevor Lawrence make that jump. He didn't get injured last year, which I think shows a lot of strength in Trevor Lawrence with that battle. I
Yeah.
mean, just watching him run around and get sacked and throwing the ball around. Yeah, he forced the ball a lot, but he's learning. He still has the talent, but he didn't get injured. Joe Burrow got injured that his rookie season. Got banged up a lot. So I think it's kind of the same thing, but I think Trevor Lawrence just isn't going to get his Jamar Chase. He's not going to get the
No,
guy that's just
definitely
going to
not.
break their offense and just completely flip it around.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Christian Kirk's going to be really well in fantasy, and I think Trevor Lawrence is kind of slightly be better than last year. I'm not going to say he's going to be top 15, top 20. I still think he's going to be in the lower 20s, high 20s. But we'll see. Be like, okay, he got a weapon. He might do well if they can fix some issues. I think there's gonna be a lot more confidence in him if they get more stuff, on that
Mm-hmm.
offense this season with adding Christian Kirk. So, anyways, we have the next pair is Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper. Granted, Deshaun Watson plays like we were talking about. Do you think Deshaun Watson still has it? And if so, uh, is Amari Cooper his guy?
Uh, I like Mark Cooper. Obviously, he's talented. I just don't think he's the same player that he was.
For sure.
Um,
I've never
and
been
I
big
don't
on
know
Amari.
how much like I know Deshaun is a great playmaker, but I don't know how much he can really benefit going from Dak to Deshaun. Because I think with arm talent, Deshaun's probably a little bit better, but once you're at that kind of like elite level, Dak's a little bit below elite. Um,
Yeah.
it's like you can't really do much. Amari's aging. I think it'll definitely help Deshaun
Yeah,
out
having
because
him.
he'll have someone he can trust and a smart player, a veteran wide receiver. But I don't know if Amari's the same guy he was. So I don't think it's going to make Amari better, but it's definitely going to help Deshaun to have something like that.
Yeah, I like Deshaun Watson in this offense. I think this again, just kind of like we're talking about with Matt Ryan, will kind of be a different scenario than
Yeah.
what he's used to with the running game. Never had a real running game or offensive line for that matter, and
Yeah, he can be more relaxed.
he's walking into one of the best rushing, if not the best, offensive line in the NFL. They don't have J.C. Treader anymore. I think he's
Yeah.
still in free agency, but still, other than that, still the same. So he's walking to a better offensive line, way better offensive line, a way better running back group. I mean, he was already used to one great wide receiver, anyways. And I'm not saying Amari Cooper is great. I think Amari Cooper is good. But in fantasy football, I think if Deshaun Watson still has it and Amari Cooper is somewhat himself still, I think Amari Cooper is gonna be like what we think Allen Robinson's gonna be this year. We think they're gonna just flip it. Everyone's going high on Allen Robinson, which we're gonna talk about next. But I am really hoping that that nothing happens to Deshaun Watson, and not because of my personal things. I just really want to see the Browns, make a little bit of a turn this year and mess up that AFC North,
Yeah.
um, and kind of give the Bengals a run for their money. I want to see a competition up there. Right now, the Steelers are kind of broken up. The Ravens, they're a huge question mark this year. The only team in that NFC North that's got a chance, surprisingly, which you wouldn't think you'd say if you asked 5 years ago who you think is going to be the top team in that division, you wouldn't say the Bengals, and now you're saying the Bengals. So
Yeah.
if something happens to Deshaun Watson, he's not good or he's not playing because of the suspension, then the Bengals are just going to walk through that division. So
Yeah. I mean, I can see the Ravens
like
putting up a
I don't
fight.
know. I hope the Browns can not get screwed again this year. I kind of feel bad for them. But anyways, we can jump back to our home state and talk about Brady and Russell Gage. What do you think about
Russell
Russell Gage?
Gage. Um, I don't know. I think he's got decent opportunity. Apparently, he's been doing pretty good in camp. I'm just kind of worried. I mean, I guess like in a dynasty, kind of like down the road standpoint, he could be worth something later on. But I think right now it's going to be a little like boom or bust type of games because he's going to try and fill that Antonio Brown role, but he's not exactly Antonio Brown.
No.
So it's like I think he'll be a good slot receiver when Chris Godwin's out. But when Chris Godwin comes back, he kind of takes most of those slot opportunities away, unless they're running like 4 wide receiver sets or like 3 wide receiver sets where
And we got Julio
Godwin's kind
now.
of outside and you have Julio. So it's like it's kind of hard to say. I think it doesn't really affect much for Brady. It's good to have him have that guy that he knows going to run a sharp route or like will be able to hopefully. I mean, I've heard that Russell Gage is catching on to the playbook pretty quickly,
Yeah,
um, and
I've
he's
heard some good
showing
things
out
too.
pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
think
if it's
same
someone that
thing.
Tom Brady can kind of like get chemistry with, then I think it'll help. But I don't know how much better Russell Gage will be for it just because of opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, I don't. I with Chris Godwin out, I for sure thought he was going to be a big part, and something could happen to Julio. He's still older,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
why I'm
don't.
like he could because Julio could always get injured.
And I don't think we're going to use Julio as much as people think. I think we're just going to use him whenever we need him. And, whenever we don't need him, he's just going to be there ready. And
Yeah,
Russell Gage needs to kind of prove that he could, gain that trust, like we said with Tom Brady. And he could be another, like, he's not going to be what AB was, but nobody really knew AB was still AB until Brady. So
yeah,
maybe, he's one of those just slot. He's pretty tall for a slot. And I think he's on our depth chart as a slot. I think he's a taller slot guy, but
yeah. Cooper
um,
Cup season inbound.
yeah. So I mean, who knows, man? We didn't know Cooper Cup was going to be that until last year. It's crazy.
I didn't
So
realize that Russell Gage he's 6 foot, so kind of tall for a
I thought he was 6'2",
no, just six
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 foot.
flat.
I thought I saw he was
But
6'2".
I'm surprised. Sorry to jump off topic, but kind of Cooper Cup. I was just looking at stats the other day. I didn't realize he finished as the number 6 wide receiver in 2020 or 2019.
Sixth wide receiver.
Yeah,
I think I heard someone say that in fantasy football he ranked like top 10.
and then this year after that, he went like
How
20.
many points did he get in 2020? Do you know? Does it say? Like total
Um,
points? Like was it 200 or what? It had to
yeah, it
be in
was
the
actually
two.
a pretty good total.
It had to be 200 something.
Yeah. So it's funny because his stats this of that from that season were pretty similar. He just got more opportunity.
Yeah. I think I actually saw that and I was like, was he top 10 that year in 2020? Someone, and it was like in a video or something, like people didn't know that he was actually good before he was good last year. And I was like, huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, here. Um, let's see. Yeah, so in 2020 he played 15 games. Oh wait, so maybe it was 2021.
2021 was
No.
last year.
Oh, here 2019. Sorry. No, he played.
2019?
Yeah, 20. He played 16 games. He caught 94 balls with 10 touchdowns and 1,100 yards,
Hmm.
and that got him to wide receiver 6.
Okay.
His and the main difference is the fact that he caught 145 balls in 2021 with 13.4 yards per reception, and in that 2019 year he had 12.4.
I mean,
So he was only a yard shorter per catch.
oh, I mean, I want to see. So yeah, in 2019 he had okay, so he had 270 points in 2019.
Oh wow!
270 points. Um,
Didn't he
and
get like
that
413 or something this past year?
ye, fourth yeah, like 420 something. Um,
439. Jesus.
yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, 439 in this league. So yeah, yeah, yeah. That year, I think that was the year that people were like, you started to hear about Cooper Cup, and that would have been around the time Jared Goff was quarterback. So, and
Yeah.
that might have been the year they went on the Super Bowl, right? And lost.
No, I
20,
think that was 2018.
that was 2018. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I figured, that's really when I started hearing. I didn't know he was top
Cooper Cup.
10.
Yeah.
But I think
I
that was
didn't. Yeah,
that
I did not
draft.
know.
That draft following that season, that's probably when I started really hearing. I'm like, Cooper Cup, like, is he really that good? And people were like, well, it's either Robert Woods or him. And I'm like, I always, one year I bet on Cooper Cup, and I think, and then I
If I
traded him
actually
over.
did my research on Cooper Cup before this past season, I probably would end up picking him.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't really pay attention to the Rams
I
offense
just saw Robert
and
Woods and I
when
thought he was
Jared Goff
better.
was there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't really pay attention to them when Jared Goff was there, and then when Matthew Stafford showed up, I was kind of like, he might do something. But then again, it still was like, who is he going to favor? Robert Woods, Cooper Cup. And then Robert Woods got injured. He had no choice. It was Cooper Cup. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's always, I hate those. It's this guy or that guy. Same team, but who it is. Just like Waddle or Tyreek Hill. Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Who's going to favor? It's going to favor someone. Who is it? Um, but anyways, we got Russell Wilson and Jerry Judy. Jerry Judy.
Russell Wilson, Jared Judy.
I think Jerry Judy's going to have a pretty good season. I think he's probably,
Yeah, I
if
do
he
too.
stays healthy, he's going to have close to 1,000 yards, if not 1,000 yards. I don't, I don't honestly. Actually, I think he might get most of his points from touchdowns just because he's such a deep threat guy. I think
Judy.
yeah. I think he might just get a lot. He might be like, he might be the next Tyler Lockett that Russell Wilson has. Um,
Could be, yeah. I mean, he's a pretty good sharp, I mean, pretty good route runner too.
Yeah, he's a good route runner, has great speed. He's young, you know. Russell Wilson has an improved offensive line than what he's had in the last half a decade. Better run. Yeah, it used to have Marshawn Lynch, but in the last few seasons, he's hasn't had a great running back group, and now he has two. And tight end is Alberto. All right, don't really need a tight end. Never really had a tight end, so
Yeah, he's
but
never really needed
Uh,
one.
but still, he's improved all these things. He's got young guys of Cortland Sutton and KJ Hamler who have been having problems this offseason with injuries. If they can stay healthy, then Jerry Judy will uh,
Oh, Tim Patrick was
benefit.
another one.
Yeah, Tim Patrick as
He
well.
tore his
Another
ACL.
towards ACL. Yeah, yeah. That's that. I mean, that was his year. I think to really prove himself. I think he was going to be a sleeper kind of, and I had him in the league. And I thought he was going to be a sleeper, but after getting injured, there's really no reason to even keep him anymore.
Yeah.
But um, I think Russell Wilson's going to do pretty well in this offense.
Oh yeah. I
Their
think they'll have a
defense
good
is
season.
also really well to help counter the offensive mistakes that happen. So, um, yeah, I'm not really. There's nothing really to talk about there. I just think it's like a good mesh right now for Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson plays and doesn't have any weird injuries like he did last year, I think.
Yeah, hopefully Judy has his breakout year.
Yeah, is he still good with his, like? Didn't he like get arrested or something?
Yeah, it was dropped.
Okay. Let's talk about. We can talk about Tua and Tyreek Hill. What do you think about them two?
Tua will be much better because of Tyreek. Tyreek will be much worse because he's not with
Patrick
Patrick
Mahomes.
Mahomes anymore.
I completely agree, and I really don't think anything's going to happen to Waddle. I think he's just going to be right around where he
Yeah, they're
was
kind of
last
different
year.
players of what they want to do.
I think Tyreek Hill will receive most of the coverage. I know he's used to it, but then again, he also doesn't have Patrick Mahomes anymore, who can kind of thread the needle and get the ball in them tight places in order to beat the tough coverage. He's got Tua, and Tua is just gonna, if he's open, he's throwing it to him. If he's not, I hope he doesn't throw it to him because I don't think he has the accuracy to, between two safeties running in at full speed. He's got to hit Tyreek Hill on a full on sprint. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's the
Um,
thing is I think you're right with that Tyreek Hill thing because I mean with the Jalen Waddle thing because I think they are yes Jalen Waddle has the speed maybe not as fast as Tyreek but he has enough to do the same things that Tyreek does. Um, but I don't think that's the type of player he wants to be. I think he wants to be that route running guy that's going to get open because of his speed. I don't think he wants his speed to be his number one option. Like
yeah,
Tyree kind of makes it to where he just sprints. So I think they'll be good complement each other.
yeah, for sure. And that whole offense to me is just this is Tua's do or die season. I think they were already trying to bring in Brady. They're kind of questioning bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo. So if he doesn't produce, they're moving on.
Yeah, they're
So
gone.
another one, we got a little bit of time left. Derek Carr, Devontae Adams. You think that's good or?
I think it's good. I think it'll be good. I don't know. Devontae Adams won't get any better.
I don't think he's going to be Justin Jefferson says he wants to be the number one wide receiver this year, and it
I
might
think
be
he
due.
will.
I think he
Yeah.
will being on the Raiders, but I don't think Devontae Adams is going to fall that much. I still think he's going to be in the
I
top
think
10.
he'll be good.
Derek Carr, I think, is going to improve. His offense is now loaded. The only thing that could really hurt that team is their defense. It just isn't that good.
Yeah,
They
that or
need
injuries.
they're probably going to be the Chiefs, what the Chiefs are. Great offense, not that great of a defense.
Yep.
But
For sure.
that's really nothing big to really talk about. But I just see it around. It's just exciting. We got tomorrow is the Hall of Fame game, and then we got literally a week until the preseason actually starts, which will be fun to do and to talk about, and actually get to see a lot of these dudes finally be on the field. We've been waiting for so long. It's finally here. We also got Madden coming out, so hopefully that's not garbage like it's been the last few years.
Yeah,
But
football season is in full effect.
yeah, we got all our wives, fiancés, blah blah, are gonna be pissed at us, but it's fine because we're watching and playing what we love. So
Sundays are back.
yeah, Sundays are for the boys. Saturdays are no longer for the boys. That's only during the off season. Now it's Sundays are for the boys. So, well, this was fun. If y'all want to reach us on any platform, you can. We have Twitter, TikTok. We have Spotify, YouTube. Reach us out on whatever platform, and we can get back to you guys and see you guys on the next one.
Peace.